Hey everybody, this is Nathaniel with Wisdom Scores here for your news break. Here to talk about Kazakhstan. A lot of stuff going on there, and it's not good news, unfortunately. This article is from foreignpolicy.com, and it's by Raushan Zandeyeva, a Kazakhstan born researcher and a PhD in political science at George Washington University. In the first days of 2022, Kazakhstan was seized by the most intense and violent protests in its 30-year history of independence. Although they started as small-scale protests in West Kazakhstan amid New Year's celebrations, the events grew into large-scale looting and violence in the country's largest city, Almaty, within a matter of days. Spurred initially by rising gas prices, problems that have been brewing for decades exploded, producing brutal retaliatory violence from the state, which is evidence also suggesting internal struggles from among its elites. About 10 years ago, this piece says 16 protesters ended up dead after a bad instance with the then president, Nazarbayev. 10 years later, on January 2nd, hundreds of protesters outraged by the sudden price hike, and I'm going to get to that in just a second, of liquefied petroleum gas LPG from 60 tenge per liter to 120. They took to the streets. The prosperity of Mangistau, replete with natural resources, had not been equally shared. There's a lot of natural gas in Kazakhstan, so for them that's really high. The reason why that's a big deal is I did my research, and here this is a graph showing generally how much you're going to pay for gas in. You can see U.S. gallon, U.S. dollar, from cheapest at the top to most expensive at the bottom, and conveniently we can see Kazakhstan there is about $1.77 a gallon, okay, in US dollars for a gallon of gas. And here we have us down here, USA, for 366 a gallon. Why are they killing each other for gas? Well, first of all, they're not. To get back to the article, there's a lot of stuff going on. Kazakhstan was once seen as an example of authoritarian stability despite a weak civil society. However, the prerequisites for political instability emerged long before 2022 as unaddressed grievances led to increasing public dissatisfaction. The crash of the tenge, Kazakhstan's currency, in 2015 amid low oil prices, public disapproval of selling land to China in 2016, lavish spending on Expo 2017, the resignation of long-term autocrat Nazarbayev from the presidency, only to take up another position of power and subsequent renaming of capital after him in 2019. This guy named the capital after himself. And of course, we've got good old COVID 19. Just a few instances of public frustration with the regime. Okay, so as well, keep this in mind. Okay, it's $1.7072, $1.77.2 in Kazakhstan for a U.S. gallon of U.S. dollars in gas. Uh, this site here is letting us know that the annual household income per capita of Kazakhstan is 3,269 US dollars. We make about 33,000 on average. These people make a tenth of what we make here in the States, and then on the other hand, they're paying about half in gas, meaning they're paying 5 times what we're paying for gas. This article goes on, tells a lot about a lot of civil grief. Eyewitnesses explain mass looting by claiming Almaty was taken over by young men, many of them armed, who raged through the streets and broke into banks and businesses and state property. There's certainly plenty of anger brewing in Almaty. According to Eurasian Economic Union, Kazakh unemployment increased by 12% in 2021. So as well, they're losing their jobs. The money's going way up. It's really bad. What remains clear is Kazakhstan is in the most vulnerable position it ever has been during its modern history. First, while the Collective Security Treaty Organization's military might manage to quell the protests, the long-term costs to the country are painful and serious. It is still unclear how long the foreign troops will stay, with some Russian politicians suggesting that they should stay permanently. So the Russia sent troops. Putin pledged he pledged to protect ethnic Russians living abroad. The linguistic fractionalization has potential to become a subject of inter-ethnic clashes or separatist movements. The capital is a mess. 164 people dead and thousands of people detained as of now. The government and people of Kazakhstan will need to find a way to overcome the trauma of its independent history and deadliest protests. All I want to say about this is, once again, they're not killing each other here and here about gas. They pay $1.77, we pay $3.66. They make a tenth of what we make. They're killing each other. There's fighting going on because of the military, because they can't speak out. Because, simply put, it's not a free country. It's not very free if you can't speak out, and that's why we're blessed to live in the United States. The United States is not perfect. I understand that, but let's face it, we're the good guys. That's why there are millions of people who want to come here. Right now, there's a weak political ruling power in America under this administration, and people all over the world are taking advantage of it. They're making big moves. You saw that in Afghanistan. China's doing whatever the heck they want. This is why we're blessed to live in a free country, and if you can't say what you want over social media, as long as you're respectful, if you're going to get censored, then you don't live in a free country. And we are bordering that, so we need to be very careful. Don't go yet. Support a brother. Help him get fed. Like, subscribe to this video. This has been Nathaniel with Wisdom Scores for News Bits and my news break. And I really appreciate you tuning in, and tune in next time. God bless, and I love you, but God loves you more.